Welcome to another exciting episode of the Spotlight series, where we bring you the minds shaping our world. Today, we dive into the future of energy with a leader revolutionizing the sector. He is the visionary behind Sherwood Power, a company dedicated to decarbonizing electricity supply through advanced energy storage solutions. By storing low-cost renewable energy, releasing it at peak times, they are driving sustainability and cutting consumer costs. It's an honor to welcome Mr. Alex Hunter.
Yeah, my name is Alex Hunter. I'm the founder and CEO of Sherwood Power. We do mass energy storage, time shifting when energy is generated from renewable sources to times when it is scarce. So taking excess daytime solar and moving it to nighttime. So we look at things in a very long-term holistic way. So if we look at energy storage, the main form of energy storage at the moment is lithium-ion batteries. We do energy storage by squashing the air that we breathe using renewable electricity to power electric motors, to drive compressors, to squash air, harvest heat, 99% of that heat energy, and then store all this energy for a long time. So we can store it for 12 hours or more. Then later, when the sun is no longer in the sky, we release the air and through a heat exchange mechanism, rejoin it with the heat that it had before, and then we use it to very efficiently drive a turbine attached to a generator. This whole system sucks in only the air that we breathe, polluted air, and sets out cool, clean, breathing air and renewable electricity.
What challenges did you face currently to adopt this technology?
To adopt this technology anywhere, it's possibly the worst thing to do when you're an entrepreneur is to take a product which is a new technology to a new marketplace. These are two things you should not do in tandem. And there's a third thing, that if you then say, right, we want to take a new technology to a new market and we want to make it a very capital intensive market, meaning it needs a lot of money to actually make it a reality, then that's 3 strikes, which means it's 3 times harder to operate. So then you have to work very hard to work on your technology so it can meet market demands, work on the market and a clever way to attack the market, and thirdly, make sure you can find enough money to make the whole dream come to a reality. Money is only a vehicle to creativity and to realize solutions to problems. I think the world knows very, very well that it's very easy to generate green electricity using solar and wind or biomass, any of these methods. Unfortunately, none of those methods are what are called reliable methods to generate electricity. So the wind can be blowing today and stop within a second. The sun can be shining nicely and then goes behind a cloud. This means that the generation is constantly varying up and down. And as you vary the generation up and down, you must have flexibility on the other side. The people who are consuming the electricity must be able to flex as well.
Yes.
The only way to have this flexibility in such a renewable generating scenario is to ensure that you have huge amounts, equal amounts almost, of energy storage on the demand side or the consumption side of the electricity cycle, because electricity has to balance second by second.
Yes. And what you see your company will grow in the next 15 years in your leadership? What you gonna deliver?
What I'd like to see is that we reduce. Here we are at Energy Week, surrounded by hydrocarbons. I vowed in my lifetime I'd like to see the end of burning hydrocarbons because it's such a waste of a beautiful natural resource that was laid down 300 million years ago. We've managed to rip through it in 200 years and pollute our atmosphere, pollute the very planet which sustains us. If we don't change our ways, then nature will balance.
Yeah.
And the balancing that nature will bring won't be good for the humankind. We won't like the change that comes.
Yes.
And it will be a natural change which reduces, in my opinion, the number of human beings which are on the planet. It's a nice change to contemplate. So we need to do everything in our power to head that off before it becomes a reality. So I believe that everyone should have access to clean air, clean water, reasonable healthcare, and energy. With these things, people can do wonderful things. And if we can make the energy clean, and if we can bring people to that party, then I have a good deal of hope and faith in the humankind to find a way out of this problem.
How can individuals contribute to lowering carbon emissions in their daily lives?
It's a very good question. I think that everybody has a role themselves. I'm standing here talking to you from England. I flew here on a jet which is burning kerosene.
Yeah.
And putting kerosene vapors into the atmosphere. So we need to change the way that we operate, each of us, and look at what we do. I try to, myself, use things until they are exhausted. So I buy clothes to put on my back. I'll use those clothes and stay with those clothes until they're finished, until they're no longer usable. And then I will recycle them. And if we can put in place a situation where we respect our environment and respect nature and maximize the recycling and reuse of materials, and actually be careful with materials and show some respect to materials, then I think we have a chance. But if we continue just mindless consumption and mindless waste into the environment by just throwing rubbish onto the ground, then nature will find a solution for us. And as I said, we won't like it.
Yeah.
If we don't do something about it, then nature will. So we're already seeing record temperatures, record changes to the way the systems within the planet work. We don't even know how these systems interplay with each other. We don't know how the ice sheets in Antarctica interplay with the oceans, and interplay then with the amount of warming, and interplay then with the air currents, the water currents, and the construction or the nature of the atmosphere that we actually breathe in. There is such a lot that we just don't understand, and it's beyond our comprehension. And we don't even know at the moment how close we are to a number of tipping points at which, once we have stepped over these tipping points, there will be drastic consequences for humankind. And there will be no return back quickly. We can all decide when we purchase whether we want to purchase something which is only going to last for a day, or you can decide to purchase something which is going to last for 5, 7, 10 years. Which is better for the environment? Which is better for society? And these sort of purchasing choices are what drives humankind's choices. What Elon Musk decides to do with putting rockets up in space is his affair. In my opinion, if you have a super concentration of wealth, that in turn brings a super concentration of power. And when there is a huge discrepancy between the people who have so much, and the balance is that concentrated in so few people, and the rest are left with such little compared to that, that's a very dangerous scenario to paint. And that's when revolutions start.
What are breakthroughs in carbon emissions reduction efforts in this decade?
Unfortunately, because of the way economics works, we're going to have to wait another 30, 40, 50 years before we start seeing significant changes in the oil investment cycle. And if that's the case, then it might be too late. And by that time, it may be that the carbon emissions that are going into the environment have done too much damage.
Yes.
Each day, to consume a little less, to change our behaviors, to respect nature around us and respect each other, then I have high hopes.
Respect nature, respect life.
Yeah.
Because nature give you everything, energy, life, and nature has a power to take away from you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a diverse system which has evolved over millions and millions of years.
Yes.
If we manage to destroy it in the few thousand years which we have been the dominant species on the planet, then that says more about us than it does about nature.
Will AI replace human jobs?
Technology will never have emotion. Emotion is a human characteristic.
Yeah.
It's called feeling. Machines can mimic humans very, very well, but they can't be or replicate a human. And if you look at all the AI films that have been in the past about artificial intelligence, the one thing they have very difficult time with is trying to get empathy. How does a machine have empathy with another sentinel being?
That's great, sir. And it's absolutely an honor to talking to you, Mr. Alex. And it's been a pleasure to have you here on Club TV.
You're welcome. Stay tuned with Club TV for more business insights.
So guys, that was Mr. Alex Hunter, CEO and founder of Sherwood Power UK. His groundbreaking work in renewable energy is making a significant impact, and his leadership is driving sustainable solutions to combat carbon emissions for a cleaner future. Thank you for joining us on this insightful episode of the Spotlight series. Stay tuned to Club TV for more inspiring stories and game-changing innovations. Until next time, keep watching, keep learning, and stay inspired.